Okay, so these are going to be your major palpations from the shoulder lab, and there's quite a bit. So I'm just going to go through them systematically, very similar to how I would evaluate the shoulder. So first place I really like to start is the sternoclavicular joint, and I think that's just because it's a really easy one to find, and oftentimes it's very noticeable on anyone. You have just these nice rounded projections here at the sternum. That's right where your clavicle comes in and forms that joint with the manubrium of the sternum. Right in here, you can literally just grab onto it with your thumb and your finger. And just by proxy of where you're at, this is going to also be where you would palpate the sternoclavicular ligament. There's different portions of that ligament. We're not going to be able to obviously determine between them, but that's where those ligaments would be to secure that joint in place. From there, you can easily just follow the path of the clavicle. So this is just going to be the shaft of your clavicle here. And you can start to notice that as you're palpating, it dives off into an S-type shape. So when it comes to this really curved, rounded part right here, this is going to be the weakest part of the clavicle. This would be the area where it's most likely to break. So once you palpate that area, you can continue to keep going until you follow out here to the edge of the shoulder, where you can start to feel where the clavicle and the acromion process come together. And if you're not exactly sure where you're at this point, especially if you're palpating someone that might be quite muscly and make it a little more difficult, you can come to the back, find the spine, which I'll show here in a little bit, follow that spine of the scapula up, and where these two meet, that's going to be your acromioclavicular joint, your AC joint. Okay, this is going to be the joint where you have an AC sprain or even separation, that you actually have a raising of this joint, and you'll have quite the step off sign, and it will be you'll be able to actually push on it and be able to manipulate it quite easily. The coracoid process, which is a part of the scapula that comes up into the front area here, is located about at that same spot where your clavicle starts to dip back. And if you come down from that spot, you're going to feel a nice bony process under here, and it's usually pretty tender to touch. So you don't want to push too hard in this area, just because there are some muscular attachments right here on the coracoid process, and it's this nice little ball that you can feel right beneath the clavicle. When you come up from the coracoid process, you're going to feel a really thick band or some resistance here. It's going to be just above that ball of tissue and bone you were just feeling. And when you push right in there, you'll get some resistance, some spring back, and that's going to be your coracoclavicular ligament. It's a complex. There's two different bands of it, and that's where that's going to be located. So in an instance where you've had such a severe AC sprain, you can have a coracoclavicular ligament sprain as well, and the clavicle can essentially become completely detached and very raised up, or displaced superiorly. The coracoacromio ligament is going to shoot off from here, and is going to be located in this area here, going from the coracoid process, to the acromion. So right in this area, more diagonal. Then we have the acromion process itself, which we found during our palpation of the AC joint, so right here. And then our glenohumeral joint is a pretty big, obvious one, the big ball and socket joint here of your shoulder. So this is our glenohumeral joint. The greater tuberosity of the humerus. So the easiest way to find that one, I think, is really come a little bit anterior and actually try to find that bicipital groove where the biceps runs in, and then you can actually just internally